Hi guys, I'm making this video today to convey a really important message about trichotillomania. I've often seen, on other people's YouTube videos or just comments that I've read of those who have trichotillomania. They just have this consuming thought that the trichotillomania is their fault. And so I'm here today telling you, if you have trichotillomania, or even if you are a parent with a child who has trichotillomania, that the trichotillomania is not your fault. It's not. I know it can feel like it's our fault if we pull our own hair out, whose fault must it be than my own? But I'm going to offer you another perspective about what trichotillomania is, and I hope this helps to eliminate some of this finger pointing, so to speak, about trichotillomania, being your fault or anybody else's fault, because it's not your fault, it's not your parents' fault, it's really nobody's fault. And once we're able to realize this, then we can get rid of a lot of the shame that we feel, because obviously if we're doing something bad that we think that we are in control of or that we think is our fault, then we are going to feel so much shame about that, and that's not going to help us to heal. It's not going to help us get rid of our trick. It's not going to help us stop pulling. What I want to say is that, firstly, you are just human, just like everybody else. Everybody has their issues going on. Everybody has their own ways of dealing with stress. And everybody displays their symptoms differently in different ways. Some people get sick. Some people are introverted. Some people are extroverted. Some people are good students. Some people are poor students. So all of these things have been determined based on our upbringing. I always thought that I was introverted and shy, and little did I know that a lot of these things were limiting beliefs that I placed on myself, or just things that I thought that I knew about myself based on how I acted in certain situations and based on my environment and my tendencies. But so we have to be careful of the things that we tell ourselves, just like that trick is my fault. It's not your fault. That's something that you tell yourself because that's what you believe, but it's not true. And if you ask yourself, is this true? Is trick my fault? I promise you, you will not be able to justify that answer. You will not be able to justify that it's your fault. It's just not possible. So all of these things have been determined based on our upbringing, and they might have even been determined before we even entered this world, before we even arrived. And that could be based on maybe our parents' upbringing, or the type of pregnancy that your mom had during that time. What did she go through? What was she experiencing? Did some negative things happen? So that's something that could determine, how healthy you are throughout your life and whatnot. That's not your mom's fault. Just want to say that. What kind of pregnancy your mom had, I mean, that most of that's probably out of her control, and that's not her fault. Even your parents' upbringing is not their fault. None of this is anybody's fault. I just want to restate that clearly. So the perspective that I have is that trichotillomania is just another one of these kind of symptoms. Like I said, some people get sick. Maybe they get, really sick every year. They have a chronic illness. Maybe they get bad ear infections every year. Maybe they, maybe some students are good students, but some students, they really seem to struggle. And that's another symptom of something that might be going on in their life. So trichotillomania, in my opinion, is one of these kind of symptoms that can show up. And unfortunately, we can't say, know who is going to get trichotillomania or not. I know nobody in my family ever had trichotillomania. Some doctors, some people might say that trichotillomania is hereditary, but that has not been proven. That's just another sign that trichotillomania is dependent on each specific person's genetic makeup, or each specific person's own unique DNA, So trichotillomania is a messenger of something deeper that's happening within that person or within you. Something else is going on that needs to be looked at or that needs to be addressed before it can be resolved, before you can stop pulling. I want you to understand that you have not been cursed by having trichotillomania. I know that's might be hard to understand because you think, why me? Why am I the only person that I know who has trichotillomania? Why am I the only person that I know who pulls their hair out? It can very much so feel like a curse at times. And I know when I had trichotillomania, if somebody would have told me, oh, that's not a bad thing that you have trichotillomania, it might actually be a good thing, I definitely wouldn't have believed them. I wouldn't have wanted to listen to them. So I can understand, if you're not wanting to be open and listen to me at this moment. But I want to assure you that your trichotillomania, it can become a good thing. It can become an asset or a tool that you can use to learn about yourself, to make you stronger. Maybe you've already realized this, but you just haven't listened to yourself and haven't figured it out yet. But I guarantee you, if you just take a moment to think about this for a minute, think about why trichotillomania could be something positive in your life, you might find that it has made you a stronger person. Maybe it's taught you to become independent or introspective. Maybe you think a lot about your life and the things that have happened. I know sometimes we can think too much about the past, but sometimes it can be healthy to think about these things and kind of learn how to accept them, and learn how to learn from them and then move on from those things that have happened to us. So that's what I would like to leave you with, is try to think of some positive things that have come from trichotillomania, and just to remember that it's not your fault and it's not anybody else's fault, because once we can eliminate the blame game, then you can start to really focus on, okay, how can I use this to benefit me? How can I use this to make me a stronger person? How can I use this to teach me more about myself and live the life that I deserve, All right, so that's all I have for you today, and I look forward to connecting again very soon.